Hello again. This is the Wagugan from waguganway.com. This video is going to be different in that, as you can tell, the screen is black. This is what I'm going to call my Blackout series. Either it's going to deal with a topic that I need to answer a question on but don't want to bring too much attention to, or it's a story where I need to protect certain people's identities in a sense, and so to symbolize that, I'm going to have the screen being black. No pictures, no anything. So, in this particular case, I'm going to tell a story that I was told recently by a person, and I want to know what your reaction would be if you were told this. As always, it's going to deal with something involving either Korean person, Asian person, or black person. So, in this particular case, it's a story of a Korean woman and why she doesn't go to church. One day I was talking to a friend of mine who's an older Korean woman. If you're familiar with Korean language, she wouldn't be a halmoni, she would be more of an ajuma. So, middle-aged woman, not a grandmother. Although, in the United States, she would be old enough to be a grandmother. And so she was telling me that she does not go to church because she had a pastor, she thought he was a nice guy, but he ended up ripping her off. And so this led to her friend telling me that she doesn't go to church either. Now, for those of you wondering, both of them fear God, believe in God, but just don't go to church. So her friend's story was totally different. Her friend was having lunch one day with the pastor's wife of the church that she went to. And the pastor's wife looked at her with disgust and basically told her, if you didn't have the decency to marry another Korean, you could have at least had the decency to marry somebody white. But you went ahead, you fell in love, and you married a black man. So since you're married to a black man, guess what? You're dirty in the eyes of God, and your sins can never be forgiven. God no longer loves you. Now that's definitely not a Christian thing to say. That is not a biblical thing to say. That is one of the worst things I have ever heard. But it gets worse. Then the pastor's wife tells this woman to her face, and because your kids are half black, they're dirty in God's eyes, and they will never be forgiven either. So think about that. This woman, who's the first lady of her church, is telling this other woman who's been going to this church regularly, donating money, whole nine, that she's dirty and that her kids are dirty because of her husband being black, because their father is a black man. For me, it was just, I knew that people thought that way, but to have someone say that they were told that to their face, especially about their children, definitely shocking, definitely sad, definitely embarrassing. So the only thing I could think to tell her is, well, probably she's just jealous of your husband and of your marriage. At that point, this woman had a huge smile on her face. She said, you know what? You're right. Her husband doesn't love her. Husband doesn't respect her. But my husband treats me like a princess every day of my life. And so I'm happy that I'm his wife. Yes, true love doesn't know any color, doesn't know anything of that sort. That person could be considered dirty or unpure because the person they married had a different skin color or ethnic background. But how would you have responded to that? Now, this woman didn't say if she violently responded or what she did, and quite honestly, I don't want to know any details about that. But what would you have done if you were told that because of your relationship, that not only you're dirty, but your kids are dirty, and that you will not be forgiven by God? Leave your response in the comment section below. And don't forget to check out my blog at waguganway.com. Thanks, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.